you need to get your visitors' attention. That's the first thing you need to do. You need to grab their interest or maintain their interest. Once you've done that and they're interested and they're on your page, you need to create desire for your product or service or offer, and eventually you need them to take action. Make sense? Great. So that is Aida in action. If you look in your worksheet, probably on the next page, you'll see that there are really 3 ways to capture your visitors' attention. So you've just learned the formula. Now I'm going to explain specifically how you use each element on your page, right? So how do you get attention? You can get attention with a headline. You can get attention with a video. And you can also get attention with a hero image, and we'll be talking about this later. Once you've got their attention, you've captured their attention, remember they've got short attention spans, we then want to maintain their interest. And there really are 2 ways to maintain your visitors' interest. The first way is to make sure that you followed the earlier tips on writing for the web and that you're writing for the scanners and the scrollers, okay? Because what do we do when we arrive on a website? We first decide if we want to stay there past the first 5 seconds, and then we start scrolling and looking around. So that's important. You've written your copy and you've formatted the page to appeal to those people, the 79%. The next thing, which is really important, is the opening paragraph, okay? Opening paragraph. How many of you have found a newspaper and you're flicking through the newspaper and a headline catches your attention? And in the news, what they do is they have a headline, a image, usually it's an action-orientated image to grab our attention, and then, so we see the headline or the image first, then we probably read the caption. And then if we're still interested, don't we start to read the first paragraph, the first sentence? But what happens if that paragraph is really boring and full of facts and data and just isn't interesting? I've seen articles where it's like, sex scandal, and you're thinking, oh, what's this about? And you read the first paragraph and it's like something from the 1800s and there's this big thing and it's not interesting and there's too much data and you just tune out and turn the page. When you're writing copy on your website, you want to make sure that you've captured their attention, but to keep their attention and interest, your paragraph, the first 300 words, need to be really interesting. And I'm going to teach you how to be really interesting. Desire. So there are 3 ways to create desire in your copy, and those ways are benefits. You want to say how it will change their life. How are you going to solve their problems, improve their problems? Well, not improve their problems, solve their problems. And show results or show improvement. And we've seen that in certain industries like, the weight loss industry where you see before and after photos, even in cleaning websites where they show the dirty carpet and the clean carpet. So you want to show some kind of proof that what you're saying works. If you were selling travel, you might show desire through luxury, images or images of people traveling or having a great vacation and things like that. And finally, action. Now, there's 3 ways to get your visitors to take action. The first way is with a clear and obvious call to action. So this is usually a bright-colored button with some action-orientated copy in it that's going to get people to click on it. It can also be copy itself. You might have a subheading and a paragraph that talks about all the reasons why they need to take action. Urgency is important. How many of you, and maybe ladies, let's ask this question. Ladies, how many of you have bought a product that was on sale even though you didn't really need it? But it was on sale, right? And other people were probably going to buy it. There was an urgency to purchase. And men in the room who have partners or wives, how many of you have observed this? Great. It's urgency in action. That is a live example of urgency. A book I read, a fantastic book early on when I was learning copywriting, was by Robert Cialdini. How many of you know the book I'm talking about? And how many of you can remember the title? Influence, because I forgot it for a second. So Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. He talks about 6 elements, which all apply to copywriting. One of them is scarcity. And when something is limited, it invokes a fear of loss in us, even if we don't really need it. We somehow, if it's scarce, see it as more valuable than if it's in abundance, right? Why is diamonds more valuable than other gems or crystals? It's because they're more rare, they're more scarce, they're harder to get. So that's just something to realize when you're writing a copy and you want people to take action. Sometimes just having a countdown timer for a sale or an offer increases sales dramatically. And the reason is because people feel like they're going to miss out. It's that fear of loss. So if you can include that in your copy, then you're going to see improvement in people taking action. You could also add incentives or bonuses or premiums. When you do this, it's the law of reciprocity, but it's also just sweetening the deal. When you're offering more valuable and relevant bonuses than your competitors, and people are kind of shopping around online, which is so easy to do, then they're more likely to purchase from you. A quick story about that. I was at Officeworks looking to buy a new laptop bag, and I don't know how many of you have done this, but you go to Officeworks, you go to the aisle, and there was like 50 different types of laptop bags, right? And again, like everyone, I don't have a lot of time. So I'm looking through and they're different prices, but even in each price range, there's still like 10 of them. Thinking, I don't know which one to buy. So I'm looking around, pacing around, and then one of them captures my attention and gets me to buy it. And that laptop bag has a free mouse pad included inside, a free like shoulder strap, and it had some of the gimmick that I didn't really need. But because it offered all of those things, I thought, well, clearly that's more value, and I purchased it. So if you want to stand out, if you want more action, can you pile on the bonuses to incentivize the offer to get more people to take action? Now, the last thing, which wasn't included in the Aida formula, probably should be, is proof. One of my mentors back in the day, how many of you have heard of Gary Halbert? Some of you seasoned marketers or copywriters might know him. And I learned so much about copywriting from Gary, but he also taught me that proof is important, and that was left out of this old formula. So proof is really about getting people to believe your claims. Because isn't it true? There's so many websites and so many offers out there, people making outrageous claims. So what you need to do, and what's going to differentiate you between them and what you're offering, is you can back up your claims with proof. Copywriting in the smallest definition is making claims and then proving those claims to be true. Because if you can do that, you're going to create desire, and then if you can prove that you're saying is true, people are going to want to purchase or take action. So we can demonstrate proof in really 3 ways. We can get your visitors to believe your claims in 3 ways. The first one is demonstration. How can you demonstrate your product in action? Can you demonstrate your product being used by a customer, maybe on video? Can you demonstrate the benefits they'll get, like infomercials do? Can you demonstrate your product? Testimonials obviously are a way to show that other people have used this product and that they're getting the results that your visitors also want. So can you include testimonials? And finally, credibility indicators. Credibility indicators. We're going to talk a lot about this later, but how can you show that you're credible? How can you show that you are someone to listen to? How can you show you're an authority in your space? And you can do that visually. I know when I've written for Dale in the past, what I first drew on were some of his media appearances. And there was a collage of over 100 newspapers and magazines that Dale had featured in. There was an image we used when I first wrote for Dale. It was about Get Published Secrets, which was his course on how aspiring authors can write and publish a book. And I remember one of the images we found was of Dale, I think, on one of a TV appearance he'd been on, and we included that in the copy. So if someone's scrolling, they're going to see all these credibility indicators. So what do you do if you haven't been on TV or if you're not Dale Beaumont? Well, what you can do is you might have qualifications. You might be able to show visually a qualification or an award that you've won in business. You might be able to show something visually that people are going to notice when they scroll that shows this person is an expert. It might be you if you're into renovating like Bernadette. You might have images of a before and after property. That's going to show, credibility and proof and also invoke desire. So has everyone got the bullet points down for proof? Great.